In a very short period of time, 8 weeks, we have learned all of our warm-ups of all of our major joints. We have learned our basic 6 movements and started learning our advanced 6 movements. Are we masters of it? No, we're not masters. But guess what? There's no perfect Tai Chi. So there's that permission just in that, in knowing that, to grow and keep learning, making it our own. And so that's a blessing. We don't have to worry about doing it perfect. But we do want to always keep in mind our principles. When we move, we want to follow principles because we want to get all the benefits that we can out of our Tai Chi. So I always refer back to principles no matter what we do. So I'm going to walk around, open and close my hands, just generally get my body warmed up. It's warm outside today. And usually that means our bodies are warm, but the air conditioning's on in this building and it's made it really cold. So I have my heater down here heating up the air. The air's temperature makes a difference with the way our body feels. And our muscles and bodies move better whenever they are warm. So keeping that in mind, I want to just review over our principles of movement control, body structure, and the internal components of Tai Chi. Within movement control, it dictates our pace of slow, smooth, and continuous. So the way we move is smooth and continuous. That's our goal. In the beginning, when we learn, we're a little bit choppy. So forgive yourself if you've not made it there yet. Our other principle under movement control is gentle resistance. And so that is moving as if the air is thick, engaging muscle that you don't necessarily have to engage, but you choose to engage. For instance, when we use the word push, we're not actually pushing anything, but just by saying the word push allows us to engage that gentle resistance. Under body structure. Now, this is something we should think about all the time. It is what Tai Chi does for us in the gift of body awareness, and that is upright posture. So no matter where we are, what we're doing, we want to have that upright posture, no tension in our shoulders, and we want to hold our body in a way that's supportive. So we have our feet about shoulder width or hip width apart alongside of our upright posture, and bam, our body is supported. If we start putting all our weight on one side and our hip kind of pops out, and then you start feeling a pressure in that joint. Even it out on both legs with that upright posture, slight bend in your knees, and your body is in a good position. Something we can do all the time. Under body structure is weight transfer. And now I've been talking to y'all about empty step, so that when we place a foot out there, we don't immediately give it weight, and then we do give it weight. But by nature of the continuous weight transfer in our Tai Chi, we are putting weight on one leg and then the other leg throughout our Tai Chi. And when we do that, and when we combine it with slow, smooth, continuous, then it engages that muscle, and that muscle becomes stronger and more stabilizing for us, and we're less likely to fall. So you see how important our principles are. And then the internal components of song, which is open joints, allowing that life energy to flow, And that's when we don't lock our joints. We keep that soft bend in our elbows, our soft bend in our knees, a little space in our armpits when we hold our hands and arms out that allow that energy to flow. So like I said, when your arms are away from you, when you push away from you, you never lock joints. Keep that soft bend and allow that energy to flow. The other internal component, and it's something that we get more in our time practicing Tai Chi than actually in class, and that is mental quietness, or Jing, Jing. That's where we can just be quiet, settle into the movement, and just enjoy the whole experience. And we get that experience when it's quiet. So class doesn't lend itself to be quiet, but as we learn and as we get better, I try to give y'all more opportunities to just follow me and experience mental quietness. And are there any questions about our Tai Chi principles that I just went over? Very good. Well, always feel free to interrupt me and let me know if something comes up that you think of and you want to ask. Don't feel like you're bothering me. Don't feel like you have to wait until I ask if you have any questions. I do want to tell you that we will not have class next Tuesday because I will be in Tallahassee getting recertified to teach Tai Chi. So I hope on that following Tuesday, which is the 11th, I will bring back something new that maybe I haven't ever known before to share with y'all. So I will be telling Miss Sam, and she will send you a reminder. And but go ahead and just put that in your head or on your paper that we won't have class next Friday. Next Friday. You don't come to class on Friday. Next Tuesday, the 4th. Oh, good Lord. All right. So here we go. Let's start with the warm up of each of our major joints. Getting in our upright posture, stable stance, weight on both feet, relax shoulders. Remember, we're breathing. Our goal is to continue to breathe. And if we ever catch ourselves holding our breath, we start our breathing again. Let's begin with our neck exercises. We bring our hands up. Now, when you bring your hands towards you, I want you to give it a try to tuck your chin in. Kind of like you're making yourself have a double chin. It's not a good look for pictures, but what it is a good exercise for your spine, specifically the cervical part of your spine that's in your neck. It helps engage the nerves in that neck. And it may feel a little awkward because we don't typically do that. But give that a try. Find myself feeling like I'm in speed mode. I need to slow down. Next neck exercise. We follow that hand as we look towards that shoulder. Come back to the front, switch hands. We don't have to turn that head as far as we can. Just turn it until you feel a slight stretch and then come back to center. Often hold tension in our neck and head. It's hard carrying this head around. You know, it weighs, what, 8 pounds roundabout. That neck has a big job. Think about a gallon of milk or a gallon of any kind of liquid. That's about what our head weighs. Let's roll our shoulders. Roll them forward, small circles, and roll them back. Like a massage we give ourselves. Just warming up our major joints. Big circles, bring those hands up, turn and push them down. You hear that word? That's a gentle resistance word. Grab our ball. This one's for our spine. So we're going to push one hand up and the other hand down, stretching that spine. Remember to keep those soft bends in your elbow. I like to exhale as I separate. Inhale as I come to my ball. Feels good to stretch that spine. Let's go back to our ball and take it for a ride side to side. This is that movement that gets us ready for waving hands and clouds. If we engage our torso side to side. Your time on the switch. Don't get in a hurry to come across. Take note that our hands are facing each other so many times in our Tai Chi movements. This being one of them. To our sides. Now let's work on our hips. So we're going to shift our weight to one leg, place our heel forward, hands back, pause in the middle, and then toe back at an angle with our hands forward. Challenging ourselves to stay upright and not lean into these movements, but to keep that upright posture. I'll switch to the other side. And you may find that one side feels more stable or stronger than the other. That gives you a place to work and notice growth as that side gets stronger too. I'm going to turn this heater off. So I want you to also acknowledge that maybe it was a little bit difficult with my hands forward and my toe back. That's a cross-lateral movement, and that challenges our brain. And that's another good thing about Tai Chi. Now we're going to shift weight from one leg to the other, stacking our hands and taking them in the direction of the weight shift, and then tapping that foot out. Switch, shift, and tap. Continue to breathe, catching yourself, holding your breath. Usually I'll catch myself if I'm really concentrating on something. And weight shifting is definitely something to concentrate on. It's a challenge to hold weight on one leg while you move that other leg. Very good. Loose fist at our hips. We're going to do our knees now. Shifting the weight to one leg. Lift, tap, and punch that opposite hand. There's more cross-lateral movements. Sometimes I take a real long pause as I shift that weight and think to myself, okay, are we ready to lift that foot? We have good days and bad days with our with our joints. I maybe shouldn't put it like that it's bad days, but some days are bad, aren't they? Some days our joints just hurt and they don't work. Those are the days that maybe you want to hold on to a chair, or maybe you want to do the weight shift but not lift that foot out forward. So we always want to listen to our bodies and, take it easy on the days that our joints need a little extra protection. No shame in that. So now we're going to step out, being conscious about keeping both feet flat on the floor as I shift weight to that front leg and punch opposite arm. Bring it back and then feet side by side. So there's weight shift to the side and now weight shift to the front. Bring it back and feet side by side. So that's a lot of weight shifting going on. This is a very dynamic movement because of that. The cross-lateral punch and all of the directions of weight shifting. And because we shift weight forward, my body wants to lean forward, but I have to remain with my upright posture. If I were to lean in to that weight shift, then I may be more likely to fall because of gravity. All right, now for our ankles. Heel toe, rocking that foot, heel toe. Switch feet. Take your time in shifting the weight and then heel toe. Take it back, shift the weight. Big toe, little toe. Little toe, big toe. Side to side. All right, give yourself a little shake. So we should have all our major joints warmed up with those movements. Get my water. Get me a drink. All right, so we're going to practice going through our basic 6. I'm going to talk you through it. We'll do it several times to practice mental quietness And then I want y'all to let me know if there's any questions you have or any specific movement that you would like to go over before we go on and practice the advanced 6 that we've learned so far. All right, so upright posture, feet shoulder width, hip width apart, weight on both legs, slight bend in our knees, relax shoulders. Remembering that when we begin, our hands face each other, and when we extend arms, we do not lock our joints. We're going to breathe, not hold our breath, and enjoy the slow, smooth, continuous nature of our movements. All right, from the top, and commence. Hands come up and down, shift right. Place that left foot out. Hands come in and up. Shift left as those hands go out. Right foot forward. Hands come back, open and close. Single whip. Shift left, step right, adjust weight. Push, turn, separate. Eyes follow that left hand. Shift left. Bring that right foot, right hand back, waving hands in clouds. Step, switch, turn, shift. There's our 4 words right behind me. Step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, and to the middle for open, close. Single whip, shift right, step left, adjust weight, push, turn, separate. Eyes follow our right hand. Shift right, bring that left foot, left hand back, waving hands in clouds. Step, switch, turn, shift, 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 step, switch, turn, and back to the middle for open and close. Close it out. Do it again. I'm going to call out the names of the movements and commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Count to 6. Remember, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. There's 1. I like to count the turns. 2. 3. Open, close. And close it out. All right. Again, I'll say the names of the movements. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Close it out. Do you have any questions, or do you need me to go over any specific move? All right, well, if anything comes up, y'all just spit it out. Just say, I don't know what you're doing with your feet there, or, where is your weight, or whatever you might want to know. There's no dumb question. If you're thinking it, somebody else is probably thinking it too. All right, now we're going to go through it, and I'm not going to talk at all. This is our experience of mental quietness. Commence. Really challenges our own knowledge, doesn't it? Whenever I'm not saying words to remind you what's next, it challenges you to use your brain. Now, when I started doing my Tai Chi on my own, I had a piece of paper that listed everything that was in order. So it just listed commencement, open, close, single whip, and then I would put to the right, waving hands in clouds, right, open, close. I just listed it out. That way, I just did what was in order. After a while, your body just learns it, and you don't even have to see your paper anymore. All right, one more time, and then we'll move on to our advanced.
Miss Jennifer,
Yes, ma'am.
it's like a signal going through our body telling us what to do.
Yes. Yep. And it gets it so well that you could tell a story about the three little bears and your body would still be going through the motions. But you
Yes,
only
ma'am.
get there with practice.
Yes, ma'am.
So practice makes perfect. We've been told that our whole lives, haven't we? All right, one more time. And commence.
It's on Zoom. Oh, I was trying to see if it was on. I'm trying to see if it was on. I was trying to look, you got a finger. Well, he did the plan wrong. Oh, no. And I had, you know, Michelle. Yeah. You get it. Yeah, I feel they have the same one. No, I was. I'm taking my over. Okay. I'm over. I do.
So your legs are starting to feel it, all that weight transfer. And one of the benefits, of course, is fall prevention, but one of the benefits too is improved stamina, which means you can stay up and going longer than you did before. And that comes from doing things, practicing, staying active. And so some days we have long days where a lot is asked of our bodies. And if we're used to being active and moving, then it's easier for us. And so going through Tai Chi, shifting weights slowly, that improves our stamina. It's actually harder to move slow in some ways, isn't it? All right, so let's review what we have learned from our advanced six, or what Dr. Lamb calls our extension movements. Now, our advanced six, I've always said these were the fight moves because let me show you what all the advanced six are, and I'll call them out. So we have brush knee, which we've learned. And notice how there's a fight element to it as I extend my arm. Play the lute. Parry punch. Lock and close. Push the mountain or push the tiger. And open and close. So then we'll do it to the right side. Brush knee. So notice all these extensions that we're doing. That's fight like. Play the lute. Parry punch. Lock and close. Push the tiger or push mountain. Open, close. And close it out. Those are our advanced six, going to the left and going to the right. Hopefully you kind of saw that there's that fight-like movements with the extension, because if you're in a fight, there's going to be some extension as you go on the attack or the retreat. to react to the attack. So you'll notice too in these movements that there is what's called agile stepping. There's a step. Remember, we always step empty, shift, and a follow step. So there's a step, shift, follow step. So that follow step is part of what makes this particular Tai Chi Sun style, which is S-U-N. It has a higher stance. We have that agile or follow step movement. So that gives us extra contact to the ground. Helps us be more balanced. Okay. I'm going to tuck the bottom of my pants into my socks so y'all can see my feet better. All right. So when we do brush knee, remember we're going from facing the front to facing the left. Just our feet, we shift weight to our left foot and we pivot our right toe towards the left. So we have a little bit of weight on our heel as we pivot. And that's like an arrow telling us what direction we're going. So we shift left, turn that right toe in. Then we shift right, we bring that left foot back. Then we place the left foot towards that left wall, shift to the left foot, and then follow step right. Now that in itself, that follow step right, let Nora in. That follow step right is a little bit awkward because when we typically walk, we walk by stepping left and then stepping right out front. We're advancing, we're going places. So it feels awkward to step left, shift, follow step right, but that right foot stayed behind. It just feels awkward. So it just is what it is. Acknowledge that it is awkward and why, and then practice the move. So shift left, right toe in. That's our arrow. Shift right, bring that left foot back momentarily, and then step left, shift, and follow step. So it's a really small step. We stayed in the same place. We didn't advance very far. We went from facing front to facing the left. So again, shift left, right toe in. Shift right, left foot back, step left, shift left, follow step right. Now when we follow step right, we don't give weight to that foot. The follow step foot is the period to the end of that movement, and that foot is the first step of our next one. If you have to give it weight for safety, that's fine. But just know you'd have to remove the weight before that next move. So follow step gets no weight. Weight remains on our left leg. All right, again, one more time on our feet, then we'll do it at our hands. Shift left, right toe in, shift right, bring the left foot back, step left, shift left, follow step right. So that gets us facing towards the left. Hand work. When we turn that right toe in, we reach our right hand out. So it's shift left, right toe in and reach. What our left hand does is come and hovers over our left elbow pit, protecting that elbow. Hands are coming from open and closed, so they're here facing each other. We shift left, right toe in and reach. Shift right, and now you know I'm going to pull that left foot back to prepare, and I call it separate and prepare, because I'm separating that hand to my hip and preparing to step. So my left hand came down to my hip at the same time my left foot pulled back to get ready to step. So it's shift left, right toe in and reach, protect that elbow. Shift right, separate, prepare. Now step left. Remember, when we step initially, we do not give weight. So we've just placed that left foot out there. We're going to bring this right hand around. Now remember, it'll depend on the mobility of your shoulder or spine, how far you can reach back and around. So if you can't go that far, imagine that you are, and then do what you can until you get to right here at your shoulder. Now we're ready to shift weight to that left foot as we push that right hand out and then follow step right. So notice, soft bend in that elbow. Left hand is down here by my hip. So that's the end of brush knee. Point going from the front to going to the left. Shift left, right toe in and reach. Shift right, separate, prepare. Step left, bring this right hand around. Push right as I shift and follow step right. Brush knee. Any questions? Okay. The next move is fairly easy. Play the lute. Okay. So I'm going to face you and show you what I look like. At the end of brush knee, I'm here. Where's my weight? My weight is on my left leg. Remember, I follow step left or right, and that right foot, the follow step foot, does not give weight because it's the next step. So with all my weight on my left foot, I step back right. Now I don't step very far. It's a tiny little step back. Step back right. And when I step back right, my hands go from here, one hand facing down by my hip, my right hand facing out and away. When I step back right, I turn my hands. So I turn them inward. What I'm doing is preparing them to pass each other. And so they'll pass each other with that weight shift, and I land right here over my elbow. So you'll see, protecting this elbow is very important in our advanced six. So coming from the end of brush knee, I'm going to step back right, turn hands. I'm going to shift right as those hands pass. And when I get to that elbow, I'm going to follow step left. So I basically took a step back. Coming from this perspective where I did brush knee and I landed facing the left to play the lute. So I step back right, turn hands. Shift as they pass, and when I get to that elbow, follow step left. Adding it to brush knee, to the top. Brush knee, shift left, right toe in and reach. Shift right, separate, prepare. Step left, bring this right hand around, and when I get to this shoulder, I shift left as I push, follow step right. Play the lute. Step back right, turn hands, shift as they pass, and when I get to that elbow, follow step left. So we know the follow step foot gets no weight. Because why? It's our next step. If we have to give it weight, we can for safety, but we have to remove it before we can continue on with our movements. So keep that in mind. Practicing those first two moves. Brush knee, shift, right toe in reach, shift, separate, prepare, step, bring this right hand around, shift as I push, follow step, play the lute, step back right, turn hands, shift as they pass, follow step left. Well, that was a pretty easy one, right? Play the lute. Our next movement is parry and punch. I like to call it parry, parry, and punch because there's two parries, the and is a guard, and the punch is a punch. So that helps with the rhythm of the movement. If I call it parry, parry, and punch, then I know there's some kind of movement that goes with each of those words. So I'm going to go back to facing you with my movement so you see what it looks like from the front. So here is my fake front, that is my fake left. I brush knee. I play the lute. All right, I'm ready for parry punch. We just follow step left. That means our next step. I'm going to step left. I'm going to flip my hands, just like the waffle maker at the hotel. I'm going to shift left as my hands pass, just like in Play the Lute. When I get to my elbow, I step right and flip. Shift. Hands pass, I get to my elbow. I step left. I put up a guard with my left hand. My right hand comes back. Grab some flowers out of my back pocket. I shift and I deliver those flowers. Follow step right. I think I gave myself enough room. So I've ended, play the lute. I'm going to parry punch. So here's the rhythm of the movement sped up. Parry, parry, and punch. Parry, parry, and punch. So this is a parry where we flipped and our hands passed to the elbow, and we flipped and we passed to the elbow. That's a parry. And it's spelled Parry, if you're trying to think of what it looks like in your head. Parry, parry. So you can think of it like this. You know, in the older days when women wore those long white gloves, you can think of it like you're putting on those gloves. You're pulling them up. Parry, parry. I like thinking about that. I like thinking about the waffle maker flip. So if you've ever gone to a hotel and made waffles, that's what you have to do. You flip the waffle. So you flip your hands and then you parry. Flip your waffle maker, parry. When I first started, I used to think of it as pet a kitty cat. So like if my hand is sitting there and there's a kitty cat sitting on my arm and I pet it, pet the kitty, switch, pet the kitty. whatever helps you. I try to come up with different ways or different things that we may be familiar with that helps you kind of get a feel for that movement. Hairy, hairy. But 3 times in a row, we do that movement where our hands pass to the elbow. The first time we do it and play the lute, our hands are vertical. And then when we do it in our parries, they're horizontal this way. And we flip horizontal that way. So 3 times in a row, our hands pass to our elbow. So when we think about energy, so that's what we're doing here when it comes to Tai Chi, cultivating life energy in our bodies. And so if you think about these organs right here in our body, in this area right here that my hand's going, these are your organs that keep you alive and going, right? That's our lungs, it's our heart, it's our stomach, it's our intestines, it's our kidneys, liver, all of our vital organs right here. And so we want all that stuff working good, don't we? We want all those little bits doing their job. And so when we think about this movement right here, it's as if we're pulling that life energy towards our bodies where we need it the most. And you don't have to believe in life energy, but this is what the people who created Tai Chi believed in when they created it. So I want you to understand why we do certain movements. And so sometimes when you think about creating energy, you create energy. When you think, oh, this ain't doing nothing, I'm just moving my hands, then you're just moving your hands. So it's, our mindset sometimes can help us out. And so that movement always makes me think, pulling life energy towards all these little bits because we want them to work. And so we have play the lute, then we have parry and punch. Now remember I said punch, but we're not really fighting or hitting anyone. And I like the idea of delivering flowers. One, because it's just nice, but two, it helps us remember how to hold our hand. So when we have this guard up and we reach back here to our back pocket to grab our flowers, to deliver our flowers, look at there. That's a little hole, just like, pretend that's flowers. If I were to give you a bouquet of flowers, I would give it to you like this. I wouldn't give it to you like this. If I were to punch you, I wouldn't punch you like that. I would punch you like that. So I think sometimes that is a difficult thing to match up. Whenever we call it parry, parry, and punch, we think punch, and our fist would go like this. But when we deliver flowers, we would deliver them like this. And that's what the move calls us to do, is to hold our hand like that, as if we had flowers. And as we come over top of that arm, we stop where our wrists are hovering there together. So I hold my guard up, deliver those flowers here. So you see how I come right over top of that arm. What I don't do is this. Guard, and I just hammered myself. Now, why would I hurt myself? So when you do this move and you come back and you get your flowers, come and deliver them right over top of that wrist. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hammer your own arm. We're not punching forward. We're delivering flowers. Okay? So calling it deliver flowers, I think is helpful to remind you how to hold your fist where you could hold the bouquet up. So parry and punch, parry and punch. That is a challenging move, just like brush knee is a challenging move. And so it'll take us time to get good at all of those. They're called advanced for a reason. But I want you to be familiar with the movements. Okay? So, and because you get familiar with it, you go, oh, okay, I hear you. I see all the little intricacies of it. Now let's practice. So all of these movements, let me tell you this to kind of give you hope. We all like moments of hope. After parry punch, we're kind of home free because we do parry and punch. Our next move is block and close. And all that is I release my hands, I step back, I shift, and my hands come down to my hips, and I follow step. That's block and close. Push the tiger, our next one. I step forward and I push my hands out and follow step. That's push tiger. Then I go to the front, hands face for open and close. So just know, once we get that parry, and punch down pat, all we have left is block and close, push the tiger, open and close it out. And then we do it to the other side. Those movements are on the YouTube page under playlist. Each movement has its own video. If you want to practice those in the next couple weeks, of course, you can come back to this video. But we will not have class next Tuesday because I'll be getting recertified to teach y'all Tai Chi, but we will resume back March 11th. Okay, let's cool down. Do y'all have any questions or what you thinking about our advanced 6? You like it?
I like it.
I love it because it feels like we're doing something, like a little dance or, basic 6 is great. We're going to get the benefits from Tai Chi as we practice our principles. But when we get to those advanced 6, I mean, it just feels different. All right, let's create tension and gather tension and then let it go. Gather it, know what that feels like so that you can practice letting it go and not holding on to tension, and let it go. Gather and release. Big shoulder circle. One more. We make a fist with our right hand representing our strength, our left fingers together representing our friendship, our thumb in our humility. We put those together in mutual respect and we say namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Very good, y'all. I hope y'all have a great 2 weeks.
Thank you.
What happened on Friday? The class was canceled.
Yes, ma'am. You must have not got the message. You
I
said
got it after I tried to get on.
I gotcha. On Friday, my daughter locked herself out of the house. I was already in town. I had to go back in the country, and let her in, and it was just a whole ordeal. So I said,
I got
I'm
you.
gonna have to cancel class. It's just it's too much.
Right. I understand.
All right. Well, Nora, I'll see you Friday, but I will see the rest of y'all in 2 weeks on the 11th. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Y'all take
Thank
care.
you.
Love y'all.
No, love
Love
you
you.
too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.